I've helped thousands of experts turn their skills into paying clients. And the number one question I get asked is this: how do I actually get my first client? Most advice out there is kind of overwhelming. It tells you to build a website or create a sales funnel or post on social media every single day and then wait. But waiting doesn't pay the bills. So today I'm going to give you 5 simple steps to land your very first consulting or coaching client. By the end of this video, you're going to be able to imagine opening your inbox and seeing a message that says, "I love to work with you. How do we get started?" But before we jump into the steps, let's talk about why getting that first client is so hard for smart people like you, no matter how accomplished or skilled you are. Most people think that being good at what they do is enough. They think, I have 20 years of experience. People should be lining up to hire me. But that's not really how buying works. In buyer psychology, we know that people don't buy based strictly on your skills. They buy when they have a problem right now that feels both important and urgent. If the problem isn't keeping them up at night, they won't spend money on it. So the real question isn't, am I good enough to get a client? You almost definitely are. The real question is, am I solving a problem that someone desperately needs solved right now and that they can pay for right now? Here's how we're going to do it. Your first step is not to build a website. It is not to design a logo. It is to pick one specific problem that you have proof that you've already solved, whether in a job or out on your own. This is really important because clients don't pay for expertise in general. They pay for solutions to very specific problems, which is different from how people hire somebody to be an employee. A company hiring an expert is happy to bring in a generalist. A client hiring someone to fix a specific problem is not. And in the world of consulting, the easiest problems to sell solutions to tend to fall into one of 2 categories. Number 1 are problems that help somebody gain health, wealth, or a relationship. So think things like landing their dream job, finding more customers, growing sales, developing a new product, getting promoted, finding their 6-pack, growing their professional network, whatever it is. Number 2 are problems that stop the client from losing money. So think reducing churn or fixing broken processes or keeping employees from quitting. If your offer doesn't clearly do one of these 2 things, it's going to feel like a nice to have, and nice to haves do not get bought. Here's a mistake, by the way, I see all the time with my clients. New coaches or consultants market themselves really broadly. So they'll say things like, I help businesses grow, or I'm a marketing consultant, or I'm a behavioral scientist, or I'm a fitness trainer, or a YouTube coach. But that's too vague. Buyers don't trust vague. Buyers trust specific and concrete. And in fact, studies have found that using specific and concrete language can actually increase your sales between 200 and 1,000%. So instead, I want you to pick a single problem where you already have some kind of real result. Maybe you helped your last company increase email open rates by 40%. Maybe you turned around a struggling product launch. Maybe you built a customer onboarding process that cut churn in half. Whatever it might be for you, I'm sure some things are coming to mind. That's your starting point. One clear problem with documented success. I have a saying, by the way, that my clients are probably sick of hearing by now, and that you will hear a lot on this YouTube channel, and that is demand dictates clients. You don't create demand by being smart or clever or even innovative, at least for the very first client. You find demand that already exists and you show up with a solution. Don't make it harder than it has to be to get your very first client. You can evolve your business as you go, but that is way easier once you have reliable cash coming in the door. And if you need some help doing this, by the way, I've got some really helpful tools and worksheets in my Consulting Starter Kit that you can download for free at consultingstarterkit.com or at the link in the description. Okay, so now that you know what problem you solve, you need to find somebody to solve it for. And here's the good news. Your first client is probably somebody that you already know. In my buyer psychology consultancy Choice Hacking, we talk a lot about trust. People go through stages before they hire somebody. I call this the trust funnel. They start as a stranger, then become a follower, a believer, a buyer, and then a repeat buyer. The reason your network is so powerful for finding your very first client is that the people in it have already moved through a lot of that trust funnel. A former boss, a colleague, a coworker, a contact from a conference, whoever they are, they've seen your work and they know you. You don't need to convince them that you're competent or trustworthy or that you're not like AI. You just need to let them know that you're available. Now, can someone find you through your content and reach out as your first client? Absolutely. That does happen all the time. If you can wait for inbound leads, great, because those people will be even easier to sell to when they come to you. But if you need a client right now, you're going to have to do some outreach. Now, here's my tip. LinkedIn is great for staying visible, but when it comes to actually reaching out to people, I would say to try email first. LinkedIn DMs can feel really spammy because a lot of people are using them to cold pitch, as you probably well know. And email feels more intentional, and the channel itself is a lot higher trust. So keep the message simple, mention how you know each other, tell them what you're doing now, mention the specific problem that you solve, ask them if they know anybody who might need help with it. And by the way, you don't have to be pushy. You just have to be clear that you solve problem X and that you have an opening for new clients. Okay, so now let's talk about a slightly different situation for those of you who maybe already have a social media following or a lot of LinkedIn connections or an email list that you haven't quite figured out how to monetize just yet. Maybe it's small, that's totally fine. This step is about breaking the seal. So in buyer psychology, there's this idea called the foot in the door effect. Once somebody makes a small commitment, they're much more likely to make a bigger one later. Your job right now is just to get that first small yes. So instead of pitching a big pricey program, a project, or a coaching package, offer something that's more of a low-priced sample, something small and focused, a single session where you deliver one clear actionable win in a short time frame. So I'm talking like 30 days or less. The key is that they walk away with something useful, something they can act on immediately, but that is not going to break the bank. Whatever happens, there's going to be a clear exchange of value for money, which creates the start of a working relationship. You're not tiptoeing around whether they're going to pay you or not. They already did. Now you just need to show them what working with you on a bigger scale looks like. It's how you build trust and reduce risk for the buyer. And by the way, if you're finding this video helpful, please drop a like or comment and subscribe to the channel. I make a couple videos like this every single week about how to turn your expertise into paying clients using the same buyer psychology-backed principles that have helped me create more than $250 million in sales for my clients, from solopreneurs to SMBs, agencies, and Fortune 500 brands like Microsoft and McDonald's. Now, the next step is one of my favorites because it works even if you have a tiny audience. Most consultants post content to their own feed and just kind of hope. But here's the thing. Your ideal clients are already gathered together somewhere in a specific place online. LinkedIn, Slack communities, industry forums, Discord, Reddit, private communities. They're in there right now talking about their problems. Your job is just to show up where they already are. But, and this is very important, do not go in there and just pitch your services. That is the fastest way to get blocked or ignored or kicked out or banned from your favorite groups. Instead, find questions that people are already asking about the problems you solve. But don't just give away the answers, because you need to charge for your expertise. Don't cheapen it by giving it away. Instead, share insights about their issues. You're not just giving a tip or how-to. An insight gives people a new way to see their problem. You're creating what I call a light bulb moment inside of people's heads. And that's what makes people remember and buy from you. When you do this consistently, people are going to start reaching out to you. They'll send you a DM. They'll say, "Hey, I saw your answer in that group. I have a similar problem. Can we talk?" Now, to be real, this is going to take longer than reaching out directly in an email or a DM, but it skips the whole awkward cold pitch part because the client already has the issue that you solve. You know that. And they've decided that you're worth hiring. They came to you. The seed of trust has been planted. Now you just need to nurture and grow it. All right. So now somebody is interested. They want to know how to work with you. What do you do now? You just need what's called an offer document. Now, this is a simple 1 to 3 page document that outlines your offer. You can make it in Notion or Google Docs. It really doesn't need to be pretty. In fact, it is often more persuasive when it's not, because it lets the ideas and the information shine, and it doesn't make people feel overly sold to. Every day, I help my clients create offer docs that land paying clients inside of my one-on-one coaching and my program, Chief Business Copilot. So if you want to learn more and apply to join the waitlist, just visit chiefbusinesscopilot.com. Now, your offer document isn't a contract. It just helps buyers feel confident that they understand what they're getting in exchange for their money. Because again, it all just comes down to building trust. Getting your first client isn't about having the perfect brand or the biggest following. It's just 5 simple things. 1, pick a specific problem that you've already solved that either makes money or saves money. 2, reach out to people who already trust you and know you. 3, create a small, low-priced offer to start the relationship. 4, show up in groups where your ideal clients already hang out and share insight with them for free. And 5, make it easy to hire you with a clear and simple offer document. But I want you to remember this. You don't need to, and you cannot create demand out of thin air. You just need to find where demand already exists in the market and harvest it. And if you want to learn about my secret psychological weapon for getting attention from clients online, watch this video next. I'm Jen Clinehens, and I'll see you in the next one.